I see things that other people don't see and stuff like that. So it's dangerous.
You
I see things that other people don't see and stuff like that. I see things that other people don't see and stuff like that. I see things that other people don't see and stuff like that. I see things that other people don't see and stuff like that.
you hear the car alarms. What do you think after that?
I think that it's a signal to me from God to, do something evil. Or sometimes it might even be something good.
So, what was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, the voices. That's what you wanted to hear about. I know I told you there were 7 of them, but they're hardly ever around. Most of them, like Madeline, she's not around anymore. Or Dr. Professor, he's not around anymore. They were all there all the time when I was working. Now it's just Halio 5, Richardson, 710, and Benjamin. But, so, those are the 3 voices that I hear. Well, those are the 3 voices that I can distinguish because they've introduced themselves to me. Because they're always talking, like a brief rundown on them. Okay, so Halio, or Halio 5, he goes by a name. I met him when I was like 15 or so. He was the first voice that ever introduced himself to me. See, that's where I wrote it down, because when he was telling me his name, at the time I was like 15, I was like, just go write it down really quickly. I still have the notebook. I have a lot of my old stuff like that. He's nice. He's always been nice. He always sticks up for me. He says I'm doing a great job. Obviously I'm not. I'm getting distracted, but it's nice to have a good voice in your ear. Coincidentally, he's like the faintest voice I hear these days. Benjamin is much louder.
Crazy place. I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
Is that a hard place for you to
So many things can set you off. You know, it is a hard place to be. The traffic lights, the cars, the buses, the
be? Do you ride the subway every night?
yeah,
Does that bother you at all?
yeah,
Is that a hard place for you to be?
yeah.
Does that bother you at all?
See, they. Okay. Well. No. Well, see, now I'm starting to freak out because now they don't want me to make this video. I mean, not they. Harry doesn't mind. He doesn't mind. Not they. Harry doesn't mind. He doesn't mind. You don't mind. Exactly. Maybe 18, 19 when I first started. I was just used to hearing, yeah, Benjamin, yeah, Benjamin's not nice. He doesn't want me to make this. He thinks I'm ugly. Yeah, he thinks I'm not smart. I know, to somebody who doesn't have schizophrenia, you might think to yourself, like, well, why don't you just tell the voices to leave you alone? But it's like, if you had a voice in your ear for, like, every single day, every second of every minute of every hour of every day, for, see, it was 18 though. 4 years. Like 4 years. You'd probably start to go a little mad too. But, and sometimes I know you guys wonder why I do what they say, even if it.
This is so loud, and it's 1,000 cells, 100 people per floor, literally just floor out the floor, people yelling, trying to yell over each other. For me, that was like everyone was yelling at me. It was like 100 people talking about me, because these other voices in my head are a negative influence. You know, they're not saying, Five, you're great. They're like, look, they're talking about you. They're gonna cut you as soon as you get out of here. As soon as you walk out, you're gonna punch you in the face. Watch that tray, watch that slide. He's gonna open the slide, he's gonna put gas in it. What is that in there? This is going on constantly. The door, the wind under the door, the toilet dripping, the sink that doesn't flush, the banging on the vent from the guy upstairs, the kid with the battery downstairs that's on the door like he's losing his mind, so he's just doing beats to keep all of that is one pressurized environment that you can't escape, and you end up just trying to hide under the covers, trying to hide yourself from the light, trying to hide yourself from the bombardment that you can't stop.
Do you feel anxious a lot? Do you have a lot of anxiety?
I try to stay in my cell as much as possible.
Another day. No. I try to sleep. But you sleep. You sleep away. And that's a state of depression. And then some nights the nights you don't sleep, you just have so many thoughts. It's like your mind is just racing. You hear everything. You hear every sound. If someone's walking, somebody's coming, or if somebody's coming, you're sitting in there, oh my goodness. What did it do? Why did it do this? Why did it do this?
He's here. He's putting me down. I don't like it. or try to respond. Like, he feeds off of that, I guess. And Ellie will try to stick up for me, like, hey, leave her alone. And he'll be like yelling at, he'll like sort of direct his anger towards him, and then I'm free to do what I want for a little while, like they're just arguing back there. He does that for me a lot, and I appreciate it. Because he is like a really loud voice. Sometimes, what am I not diagnosed with?
I don't think I'll ever be normal again. Fuck it. I would just pray and think of a way to kill myself. Pray to God that I would die and ask him why am I being punished like this if he knows I'm innocent. When she cut her wrist with shards of glass, she was slapped with 90 days in solitary for possession of contraband. Her refusals to stop trying to kill herself often resulted in more time. When she was denied sanitary pads and used her jumper to stop the bleeding, that earned her time for destruction of jail property. I found it.
He's here. He's
screams at each other. There's no normal talking.
You hear people out the window screaming all day. You hear people on your tier screaming all day.
I walk into the box and it's like people, it's noisy. It's like everybody's screaming and it just sounds like a madhouse. And just I went into the cell and the cell closes. And it's just that sound that the cell, like that sound that the cell makes when it closes is like, it's a crazy sound.
It sounds like a dog kennel. Like imagine like 20 different breeds of dogs on the same so-called tier in cages and hearing just so many different, sounds of barking. That's what it begins to sound like. It's madness.
I mean, you hear people screaming. Right, you hear people screaming, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!" Kicking themselves through. "Get me out of here! I wanna fucking be in here! See you, I'm hanging out!" And you become your own worst enemy.
With me, the voices can get very loud to the point where they're as loud as, like, my voice or your voice. It sounds like somebody's like right next to you, but also flying above you, and telling you that you're gonna fail right before you do anything.
Loneliness is very much like pain. It was evolved over time to change our behavior so that we reconnect with others, which is necessary for our survival. The brain processes loneliness in the same area as physical pain. Being cut off from others can hurt so much that people will go to extremes in order to connect.
It's like, when people insult you, like it hurts more. It hurts more because they know more about you. So he'd say stuff like, I deserved what I got when I was a kid, and just hearing that, I shouldn't be making this. I mean, you get the point. The only ones I really talk to these days are freaking Benjamin and like 5.
Speaking out loud, you start talking to yourself. Speaking out loud, just start pacing back and forth like, it's crazy, when I was in the street, it was real, blah, 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 damn, son, look at me, I'm in a box right now, this shit's crazy, fuck.
wound up just, you either count the cockroaches that come under your door, you start counting the cracks in the wall, anything to keep your mind occupied.
Like that. It's crazy. You become a movie. Become a movie. No doubt about that.
Being ignored is so painful. It's better to be treated badly by someone than to be ignored by someone.
I ain't afraid to say sometimes I fragment and just cry, It hurts. When you move into a cell, you'll look on the floor and you'll see where the cement's worn out from the last person that did the same thing you're gonna be doing. Walking back and forth from the bunk to the door, bunk to the door. You'll just notice there's a pattern in the cement where turn, turn, turn. It's crazy. You know that there was just a lot of worry, a lot of pain, ache, anticipation. When you're out there in society, when you walk up to a friend, you shake his hand or you give him a hug or you put your arm around him and you walk around and you talk. When you're in here, you ain't getting none of that. It does break something inside of you. Like you're starved for touch, for that connection.
son and you. That's very real. It was as if my mind had gone out of control. I was terrifying.
Like your eyes, start to play tricks on you. Like you start seeing black dots. And like focus on them. It's kind of crazy. It looks crazy. Like I was just saying, like demonstrate it. Like how it used to look. It looks crazy. It's like you see the black dots and you just focus on the black dots in your eyes. It's crazy. I feel like it's a month though talking to yourself.
You look long enough and, hard enough, they start moving you around there. So now all of a sudden you got your own private movie theater. You can't sleep at night in the box. You have to sleep in the daytime. I remember getting up and walking, pacing back and forth and just ranting. And to the point where I just got so furious, I started kicking on my cell door, kicking on the door. The COs came by and they trying to tell me calm down. I'm telling them not that. They're like, yo, we gonna have to come in there, and we gonna have to calm down. And I'm just going off. I'm going off. And they got the shield. And he's like, we're gonna come in, and they came and they opened it, hit me. And I remember they knocked me out. I was out for a while. I got up, my head was hurting. And I was just kept saying to myself, like, I gotta get out of there because now I'm starting to be like those guys. I started to feel like an animal. Leave an animal in the cage long enough, when you open the cage door, they won't even come out. And if they do come out, they tiptoe around, they go right back. And I felt like that. And I wanted to break that cycle. I wanted to break out of that. It was like bondage to me. It was like slavery.
And not long after, I realized that it was Satan planting thoughts in my mind. I began to feel pressure in my abdomen, and concluded that he was trying to possess me. I knew something was... realized that it was Satan.
Upside down kingdom. Everything that means something to us here doesn't mean. Yeah. And everything in there that's negative and what you shouldn't be doing, it means everything.
But to be locked in for 23 hours, that's when it gets tricky. You know, what are you really trying to do to me? Are you rehabilitating me, or are you trying to destroy me mentally? Destroy me mentally. 22 hours of locked anywhere is not right.
Frustrated, angry, pissed, sad, depressed. When I say anxious, your conversation even starts to change. When I'll go on visits and I'm sitting with my family members when they would come see me. It's like, yeah, you heard, you hear me? Repeating a lot of the stuff that I was saying twice, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. But to me, this was normal because this is the conversation of the box.
whenever I could get something to read. You're only given 2 showers a week.
Thinking about doing something negative. You understand what I'm saying? Not doing something positive, because how could you think about doing something positive when you have nothing positive being locked into a box?
I was like, yo, your son is here. You know, how was he going to handle solitary confinement?